I would like to welcome everyone here today to the official first Metal Wrestling press conference. The metal brand was a key part of No Limits Wrestling for over 8 years, but now the EVP of No Limits Wrestling, Triple H, has sold the assets. That means the trademark, the tape library, the ring equipment, and most importantly, the metal contracts belong to me. And I would like to announce today that Stone Cold Steve Austin is the first official president of Metal Wrestling, which will begin airing live this coming January, Saturday nights on the NLW channel. Now before we start, I'd just like to say something about my former employer. Being the NLW commissioner was one of the highlights of my life, and Triple H, along with the new NLW commissioner Shawn Michaels and Kevin Owens, took that away from me. Well, since they got me fired, that's given me the time to pursue this new opportunity. I'd like to take this time also to thank Trey White of My Damn Toys for tipping me off to this deal. Now, as you saw on NLW 100, Metal Wrestling is now a separate entity from No Limits Wrestling Incorporated. This is a new company, my own roster, my own finances. I run it. If I sign someone to a contract, they will not be released due to budget cuts. If you sign a 3-year deal with me, I am not releasing you. You have signed a 3-year deal. None of this corporate BS. For instance, CM Punk has signed on the dotted line as the first new signing to Metal Wrestling. Me and him go way back. And as I've said before, I may not trust him as far as I can throw him, but even I know he can go in that ring, and to me, that's all I care about. I've also secured the services of a great young talent, Darby Allin. Darby is going to be one of the cornerstones of Metal Wrestling.
Whoa, hold on. Austin, I'm sorry to interrupt, but I wanted to say hello to the new boss. In case you didn't know, I'm Sami Callihan, the hardcore champion, and this title symbolizes that I'm the baddest MFer in Metal Wrestling. And if given the opportunity, I'll test any one of the so-called cornerstones on your roster, including that little emo kid, Darbs.
Sammy, this is exactly what I want. I don't want to be that kind of boss who sits in his office and makes his employees kiss his ass. If you want Darby Allin, hell, I'll give you Darby Allin. Now sit your ass back down. See, that's what I want. Fighters with the guts to talk shit and back it up. Metal Wrestling ain't about flash, it's about getting violent, solving disputes. Hey, what the hell? What is this, Moxley? Edge? No. No one break him up, let him fight. Yeah, this is more like it, haha. Oh, hell yeah. Maybe just go someplace else. I'm trying to look professional here. Hey, you see that? Those two men brawling out that door. Two men have a dispute, they settle it. No security, no entourage holding them back. Moxley, Edge, just two of the gritty talent that you'll see here in Metal Wrestling. Oh, geez, that threw me off. All right, I'll tell you what, let's get into some announcements, shall we? As you know, Metal Wrestling begins airing on Saturday nights live in January. The presentation is going to have a few changes. For starters, to separate ourselves from the past, we are moving into a grittier presentation. Gone is the old style of fighting. Now we fight in 6 sides. We don't want to be like the competition. We want to be unique. And these are the initial plans for what I am calling the Combat Zone. The fans are kept behind cages for their own safety, and the fighters will compete in that 6-sided ring. And another thing, I'm telling you right now, I will not restrain myself. If you attack me, I will fight back. I will not fire you for standing up to authority. Just be prepared to back up your actions. And hell, we're gonna have our first pay-per-view coming soon as Metal Wrestling presents Revival. On this night, we will have the match that Triple H deprived the fans of on NLW 100. Samoa Joe will defend his middleweight championship against Drew McIntyre. Sami Callihan's hardcore title will be defended on this night. Seth Rollins' Intercontinental title will also be defended on this night. And at Revival, 2 new championships will be introduced. These will be the Heavy Metal Tag Team Championships as well as the Metal Knockouts Championship for the Women's Division. Speaking of the Women's Division, several top stars have been signed to contracts, including, as of last night, Riho. And as for the main event of Revival, for the first time ever, we're going to have a 6 sides of steel, lethal lockdown match. 2 teams will battle for supremacy. It will be a night of epic proportions. But now, before we move on, I'll answer a few questions you may have. Yes, with Finn Balor winning the Royal Rumble, there are rumors circulating about his future. He's been seen at NLW events recently and is apparently set to challenge for the NLW title at WrestleMania. What is his contract status, Mr. Austin? Well, as of this moment, Finn Balor is a free agent. He was the one guy who, when I offered a contract to, he declined on the spot. That isn't to say he won't sign in the future, but I will say he's keeping his options open, it seems. I know he's got a history with Triple H, bottom line, saying in front of all you today, it would be a real shame to lose him, especially in this new era that we're witnessing.
Yeah, you talked about the cornerstones of metal wrestling. Of course, we've got the champions in Samoa Joe, Seth Rollins, others, and then you got like your big name stars you brought in, like CM Punk and John Cena, as well as the likes of course, Drew McIntyre, John Moxley, and Edge. Are there any stars on your roster, or anyone who you might be looking to bring in that could be the future of metal wrestling?
Well, as I said earlier, Darby Allin is someone whose work I've watched for many years, and I'm very happy that he signed with Metal Wrestling. I think it's a perfect match. And you know what? Sami Callihan, earlier, he took guts to come out here and confront me face to face. And I'd have to say, also, you got the likes of Pete Dunne, Cody, John Morrison. But honestly, if I was to look at my roster as a whole, the most underrated guy, the one I'm going to be keeping my eye on has to be the Hangman, Adam Page. I think under the guidance of Ric Flair, that's only going to take him so far, and I think that, look, came over, had a lot of hype, hasn't lived up to it. Now, I think it's his opportunity to really shine and show the world some real cowboy shit, if you know what I mean.
Can you also talk about the metal invasion of NLW 100? What led to that whole scene?
While I was backstage at Metal, it was supposed to be their final live event, so about 30 minutes before I went on the air, I told all of them to show up, take what's theirs, and my God, they did that. That's the kind of passion, the fire that I'm looking for in my roster. Because make no mistake, this is a war that Triple H started, and a war that I'm going to finish. And not so fast. Mr. Austin, with all due respect, I have something I want to say. Adam Cole, you think you can try and break my neck? Put me out of action for a year and get away with it? Hell, you tried to end the man standing next to me with all your buddies, the Undisputed Era. You lot need to watch your backs. Doesn't matter if I'm working for another company, because I will not rest until I put every single one of you on the shelf permanently. In fact, I heard in 2 weeks, NLW 101 is in Chicago. And you know what? I might just show up. Hell, that is not a bad idea at all. In fact, old Stone Cold may have a little front row seat to scout the competition in Chicago. Sean, Hunter, I'm telling you now, Metal Wrestling is ready for a war. And that's the bottom line, 'cause Stone Cold said so.